right. Thanks so much for being with us here on ANF Plus. I'm Joy Limnacker, and here with Gurveer Dinza. Time for our segment called In Case You Missed It. And Gurveer, with this weather, you definitely are reminded that Thanksgiving is around the corner.
Well, you know what? It's finally starting to feel like it, right?
Yes.
Because we had such a warm October, and it was so dry. It was beautiful. But now it's starting to, we're getting that kind of cool weather. The rain's moving in. Temperatures, I think today and tomorrow, maybe like in the 60s, maybe even 50s tomorrow. So certainly feeling a lot more like Thanksgiving and the holidays. And I can't believe it. Thanksgiving is actually 2 weeks from tomorrow. I was talking to Brooks Baptiste, my partner in crime, on the morning show today, because he's hosting his family for Thanksgiving this year, and he's giving me his menu and the turkey and all these different things that he's going to be making and cooking and what everybody else is doing. And really, it's a time for all of us to spend time together. But sometimes we forget that there are people out there that may be food insecure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there may be families that don't have those meals on the table this Thanksgiving. And just in time for the holidays, psychologists from the Atlanta Public School System are actually rolling up their sleeves to make sure that children in the school system don't go without. Asia Wilson was there, and she's got more.
Time of year, it's not only putting a burden on parents, but also students emotionally and mentally. Is the reason why psychologists with Atlanta Public Schools will be here addressing that need. Now, according to Atlanta Community Food Bank in the state of Georgia, 1 in 5 children are food insecure. And in general, 1 in 8 people face this. With Thanksgiving 2 weeks away, economists say in terms of shopping for the big feast, shoppers may face ups and downs this year. In fact, the Butterball survey says 98% of consumers expect inflation to impact their plans this holiday season, which is a big jump from 79% of people who said this in 2023. One thing experts say you may see a small increase in is the price of stuffing due to trailing labor and transportation costs.
It's one of those things where we're still seeing a little bit of inflation mixed in there.
And about a dozen psychologists with Atlanta Public Schools will be here until 11:30 this morning. They hope it will lighten the burden for many families during this holiday season. In East Point, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
Well, also in Atlanta, residents are soon going to decide a new city council member through a runoff. Ishay Collins and Nicole Evans-Jones are now in a fight for seat 3, which represents the entire city. The election is December 3rd. Atlanta News First reporter Patrick Quinn spoke with both candidates.
The Atlanta City Council is about to get a new member. Either Ishay Collins or Nicole Evans-Jones will take over the vacant Post 3, an at-large seat who represents the entire city. And on the heels of the divisive presidential race, both candidates told me today this race matters more than ever.
Our voice and our presence and our advocacy in these spaces are even more key.
And I'm just excited to show the world and shock the world that Atlanta's going to come out for this runoff.
This is Nicole Evans-Jones, 57-year-old third-generation Atlanta native, a small business owner. She's running on a hyper-local platform of putting neighborhoods first, leaning on her day-to-day, on-the-ground impact she says she's made as a former school principal.
I am accountable to the teachers, to the parents, to the kids in the neighborhood. And I think that's what makes me different. My impact is tangible.
Her competitor, 44-year-old Ishay Collins, also an Atlanta native, also has an education background. Collins is a current Atlanta School Board member. She prides herself on top-down experience, highlighting her work increasing compensation for Atlanta teachers, something she says she's also prioritizing for city workers should she be elected.
I'm day one ready. I've been doing the work. I've been at the table. I have the governance and policy experience.
Both candidates were critical in the city's handling of the building of the Public Safety Training Center, vowing for more transparency. Both also support more funding for affordable housing and public transportation. They say the time for talk is over. Atlanta has to be action-oriented.
I'm a first-time candidate. There's a lot of talking in this space, but I think we need to figure out and do it. Like, get it done.
I can not only talk about the work, but I could also show you how we can actually, get that done.
Patrick Quinn, Atlanta News First.
Patrick Quinn with that report. Okay, let's turn now to this story in DeKalb County. People there showed up to demand that Georgia Power reconsider a project that would forever change their neighborhoods. The power company wants to build 2.5 miles of transmission lines held up by 80-foot metal towers. Atlanta News First Madeline Montgomery is in Decatur, and she's on East College Avenue near Agnes Scott, where some of the lines would go.
I'm probably the least furious about it.
Georgia Power not getting a neighborly welcome at a public input meeting in Avondale Estates after these plans were presented. A 2.4-mile transmission line going from Scottdale to Decatur.
You've got 80-foot towers with 115 kilovolts of electricity buzzing, literally buzzing, going directly over people's homes.
It's going to run down a creek bed that is cited by wildlife. We've got owls, we've got coyotes, we've got hawks, we've got rabbits.
Neighbors and city leaders say they feel blindsided by the plans. But Georgia Power's Atlanta Region executive says this map is not set in stone.
The purpose of tonight's meeting is to take what we have designed for over the course of several years and get the public's input into this, because the stakeholder, the community engagement part of this is very important for us.
Decatur's city manager confirms she met with Georgia Power leaders to talk over the transmission line plans.
They listened to our concerns, and they are willing to put this part of the project, the Decatur part of the project, on pause to allow Georgia Power staff as well as city staff to sit down and talk about some potential alternatives.
We're going to have some more public information meetings. We will have more meetings with city leadership and community leaders. We'll also have other ways that customers can engage with us and provide their input.
Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.
And in one West Atlanta neighborhood, a lot of safety concerns for seniors living in a specific area. Atlanta News First reporter Brittany Ford asked a resident and a city leader about the complaints that range from noise to crime.
Well, during today's Public Safety Committee meeting, Atlanta Police said they're looking into these issues. We spoke with people living in this West Atlanta neighborhood who said these problems have gone unaddressed far too long.
These are the sights and sounds that has been the source of frustration for seniors living near Holmes and Commercial Avenue in West Atlanta. Sharon is a longtime resident who asked not to have her face shown for safety reasons.
A lot of crime, a lot of activity, shooting. It's a lot, so when it gets dark, I just stay in. I don't go out.
Councilmember Julian Bond says over the last 6 months, there have been numerous complaints from the community, largely made up of seniors.
They've been complaining about some of the other residents on the street operating, gypsy lots, shady tree, mechanic shops, wild dogs, partying all hours of the night, loud music, and other activities that they suspect might be criminal.
Bond has since brought those concerns to the Atlanta Police Department, asking them to do more than just up patrols, but crack down on code enforcement to help mitigate the issues.
Most of the folks, as I mentioned, are seniors on that street in their 70s and 80s, so they're fearful.
Something that was addressed during Tuesday's Public Safety Committee meeting.
Is that a code enforcement issue?
Yeah, it's a combination code enforcement issue.
I will certainly look into that and get an answer for you.
Residents like Sharon had this to say on the city's latest efforts.
And you hope something changes?
Yeah, very much so. It got to, because we're not going to make it like this.
Now, Atlanta Police is expected to give a full briefing at the next Public Safety Committee meeting scheduled for November 25th. At Atlanta City Hall, Brittany Ford, Atlanta News First.
All right, and now to an ANF investigation, and this concerns car repairs. Well, every single year, drivers across Georgia deal with headaches trying to get their cars repaired, but you do have a lot of rights as a customer. Atlanta News First consumer investigator Better Call Harry shares some of the things you need to know before dropping off your car.
Our investigative team went through hundreds of emails, they went through voicemails, and they found a common theme. I want to read some of these to you. My vehicle has been in the shop for 4 months. No update for 10 months. 9 months to fix the transmission. Listen, this is not acceptable. You need to get that car out of there. The best way to handle a car repair is to know your rights. These are the most common questions submitted to Atlanta News First Investigates. And let's start with the big one. How long can repair shops hold your vehicle? Well, if they haven't done the work, they cannot hold your car, and you have the right to tow it to another shop. However, if the shop or the dealership did the work, they can keep the car until the bill is paid. Here's the best way to protect yourself. Ask the service tech to make a note on the work order that repairs are approved up to X amount, and that any repair or part over X amount requires your written approval. Next question, can the repair shop charge a storage fee? If you can't pay the bill, yeah, they can charge storage fees, but they need to tell you how much, or you need to ask. Here's the problem. You are on a time clock. Under Georgia law, if a vehicle is left at a repair shop for more than 30 days after the repairs are complete, the shop can declare your car abandoned. If they follow Georgia law and notify you, they can sell it. The good news is that they can't just outright sell your car after 30 days. They have to jump through a lot of hoops and give you notifications. But you can avoid all this. All you have to do is get online, get on Nextdoor, do it the old-fashioned way. Talk to your neighbors and find out who's good. I'm not a big fan of reviews anymore, but I would check out the Better Business Bureau and check out the complaints. If you find a pattern there, you might want to look someplace else. I'm Better Call Harry. Atlanta News First Investigates.
And more on that and all of our top stories on atlantanewsfirst.com, or also on our free mobile news app, where you can also sign up to get updates sent right to your phone. Thanks for joining us. Now back to Local News Live.